All right, you guys know this video is coming. These are the 4 annoying things about this Outlander 850 XMR. I think if you have the 850 or the 1000, you're probably gonna notice some of these things. Other people have been reporting them to me. So number 1, the biggest problem that people are reporting to me is that this thing stalls out in water. Mine did it several times. I'll throw in a clip now. Almost went over backwards on me right there. Oh, it just stalled. See, it just stalled again. So as this thing's breaking in, it's running better underwater. We're at about 12 hours now, and it's no longer stalling in cold water so far. I will keep you guys updated, obviously. So before around about 10 hours, when I pull out of the water like that, it would shut off right here. I'm not sure why it's doing it. I think it's because the engine's not totally broken in. The more I ride it, the less frequently it happens. But what its current symptom is, if I'm in really deep water, it'll idle down very, very low. Or if I pull out of very cold water and let off the throttle, it'll idle down really, really low, and sometimes it'll stall. It seems to be getting better. However, that is a symptom a XMR factory snorkeled machine should not have. So that's really concerning. I've probably had at least a dozen people tell me their machine's doing the same thing. Can-Am, pay attention. You need to fix crap like this. You guys need to do better testing. I'm gonna put a tune on it. I've got a couple different friends that are into tuning, working on this. Several people have already cracked the ECU, and we're gonna try to adjust the fuel and the ignition curves to help it idle a little bit stronger, even in cold conditions. That's issue number 1. That's by far the biggest issue. Issue number 2 is that from the factory, this ball joint was very loose, and this ball joint pinch bolt down here was very loose. Also, the shock bolts were pretty loose up front. Since I've tightened all that down, it fixed all the bad noises the front end was making, so that's really good. The front end is kind of limited on suspension travel, so that's annoying, but that's more of that's not really a complaint. That's just a factor of having, you know, a factory machine that can clear 32s. You have to limit the suspension travel, the tire will hit right here. So the second annoying thing is that Can-Am did not properly torque the front suspension bolts. However, all the rear suspension bolts were torqued well, and everything else I checked was torqued pretty good. Some stuff on the bumpers, stuff like that was a little loose, but nothing catastrophic. But those ball joints being loose could have been a very big problem. Okay, issue number 3, I've got it jacked up so the tires are off the ground, right? So there's no pressure on them, is the diff lock. So let's go ahead and got it neutral. Four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive works great. It engages like no problem, right? We're in four-wheel drive now. However, differential lock, oh, it worked that time. That's so annoying. Let's see if we can turn the tire a little bit. A lot of times it's working now. All right, well, I'll show you a clip from another video where I hit the diff lock and it doesn't engage right away. I've actually had to toggle it back and forth and dick around with it to make the differential lock engage. Obviously, that's really annoying. That is kind of annoying. 2 to 4-wheel drive's been working great, but the diff lock locks and unlocks itself. And if you hold it down, it'll just lock and unlock repeatedly, and then it'll finally lock. So the diff lock on this thing definitely is not working as flawlessly as my 700, but it does work if you dick around with it. Pretty disappointing. Hopefully it fixes itself. If not, I will be, oh, there's a little plastic on here I gotta peel off. Oh, that's gonna feel great. Oh yeah. Ooh, pretty. Okay, that's gonna be something I may have to fix. I may have to change the front actuator, but it's working fine right now. So maybe it fixed itself already. I don't know. All right, my last complaint, this is a pretty minor gripe, but the machine often doesn't register park. So it's in neutral right now, no problem. Low, high, neutral, reverse. You go to park, you get this dashed line. Now you might think you just need to adjust the shifter. I've done that. And it still will not register park. I can slam it into park, I can do whatever I want, and it frequently, oh, there it goes. It finally got it. It frequently doesn't register park. So there you go, dash line. If I rock it back and forth, sometimes it'll go into park, other times it doesn't. I don't really care because it's shifting properly. It is engaging park. The shift position sensor just isn't registering it. It's kind of annoying, but if you're in park and it's got that dash line, to start it, hit the brake, you can still fire it right up. So that's kind of a minor annoyance. Overall, I like this machine a lot. Oh, I got a cool sticker. I like this machine a lot. Really good suspension. It feels very stout, big axles. It's had no problem with these 32-inch tires. Honestly, I didn't notice a difference going from those stock tires to these. The weight is similar, and it just rips them. Really good gearing. I like it a lot better than any of my Gen 2 1000s. The heat shielding is excellent. You hardly even notice the heat on this thing. They did a really good job with keeping the heat away from the rider. Obviously, the radiator is a big improvement, but also all the shielding around the engine and stuff. I've said in plenty of other videos, I probably recommend the 700 over this one, and I still do. It's just gonna be easier to work on. It's gonna be a little more reliable. It's not gonna have as many heat issues and stuff. But so far, this thing's been great, except for those 4 issues. I've got about 80 miles on it, about 12, 13 hours. I'll do another video like this once I hit about 100 hours.